as you may well be aware, if you followed any of my content or very much of it over the last few years, I'm Scotch Irish. And I grew up hearing that I was Scotch Irish. As I've said before, sometimes my mama and her people would refer to themselves as Irish, or Scotch Irish, either way. I won't go into the history of why I learned that was the case, but growing up, I never knew what that really meant. They just talked about it as if, I already knew, or like it was common knowledge. Had no idea. But a few years ago, I got curious and started doing some research. And as I've said many times, I found out that I was not quite as original as I thought I was, but instead I was quite the stereotypical as that movie, The Undercover Brother, except I was the undercover Scotch Irishman, I come to find out. Anyway, so for the first time in my life, I came to understand what it meant to have some sort of almost an ethnic pride, because the things that I found out about me that were stereotypical Scotch Irish were the parts of my character and personality, most of it, parts of my character and personality that I actually think are the most fun and the most noble and that I like the most. So I was like, hey, it's not just because I need some serious psychiatric help. It's because of my DNA. So poor Deidre. Deidre's maiden name was a French name, Saucher or Saucher or however you want to pronounce that. And her mother's maiden name was a German name. She pronounced it Bowman. My sister-in-law, Deidre's sister, actually married a guy with the name spelled the same way, but they pronounce it Bachman. Baughman, I believe is how they spell it. So Deidre's mother's last name was German, and Deidre's father's last name was French. So, I got to tease Deedge quite a bit about not being Scotch Irish. Now, her father's mother's last name was Baker, which could be a Scotch Irish. It depends. It's difficult to really say what name is or isn't Scotch Irish, because not all Scotch Irishmen were Scots or Irishmen. I won't go into that history right now, but the Scots were always very inclusive into their clans. They didn't care really, as long as you came to be a part of the clan, you would be accepted for the most part. But the people who showed up and tried to change the ethos of the clan, and by the way, this is spelled with a C, not a K, tried to change the ethos of the clan would end up getting killed. It's when they showed up and said, well, back home we did it like this, they got killed. Well, y'all ought not do it like that. Y'all don't do it like this. They got killed. So you ended up with, names and stuff like that within people who are Scotch Irish who may not actually be Scots Irish or Scotch Irish. So it's possible that Deidre, it's probable that she, in fact, does have some Scotch Irish blood in her. But that destroys my joke when I tease her about it. So I oversee that. I just choose to ignore that. But at any rate, sometimes though with Deidre, now that I've been educated over the last few years about the Scotch Irish personality and everything, sometimes Deidre's personality will flare up in different ways, and I'll say, oh, maybe you are Scotch Irish. Anyway, so this morning I'm strolling along, trying to get both of my eyes open at one time, and I come across this little video right here. And when I first saw this little girl in the video, I thought, well, she kind of resembles Deedge. That fair skin. Deidre's got like porcelain skin, that fair skin, and a little round face and stuff like that. And so that's what caught my attention. And then, I watched the video.
I'm quarter Scottish.
Scottish is the best place in the world.
Yeah, it kind of is, isn't it?
It is.
I'm actually Scottish.
Yeah, when I saw that video, I thought that is, and let me tell you this story. Well, I don't know the whole story, and Deidre's not here right now to refresh my memory. Well, she's not in the office, but I'll just give you the gist of it. When the girl was in kindergarten, she beat some boy up, yanked him out of his chair or something. Now, she'll tell you a story about he pulled her hair or something like that. That's what I guess getting beaten up his repayment for trying to flirt with her in kindergarten. I don't know. And then in second grade, she beat some other kid up for pretty much the same thing. And she tells a story, too, about being in kindergarten or first grade or something. I don't know. I don't pay attention. And whatever. And Deidre's name is spelled Deidre. Okay. a bunch of vowels, and there's a R in the middle. So her name is actually pronounced, if you pronounce it correctly, it's pronounced Deirdre, like Deirdre Hall, the actress, Deirdre. She introduced herself to me as Deidre, so I call her Deidre, among other things. Sometimes I call her Deidre. Sometimes I call her Deedge. Sometimes I call her things that YouTube will censor my video if I say in the video. At any rate, so her name is spelled Deirdre. And so she's very, very sensitive about that and everything. So it was either kindergarten or first grade, or I don't know. So she was real young. She was 5, so it would have been kindergarten. The teacher kept getting on to and correcting her and told her she was misspelling her name because she was putting that R in the middle. And the teacher, called her Deidre, I guess. There's not an R in the middle. And this went on for a while. And one day they were leaving. Her mother had picked her up and they were leaving. And her mother and the teacher were talking. And Deidre said she thought about it and she brought it up to her mom. And said that her mother said, told the teacher, no, it's spelled like this. So the teacher was like, oh, okay, I must have written it down wrong, and whatever. And so Deidre, in all of her great and pompous feelings of victory and, prevailing over the teacher, said that she looked up at that teacher and said, yeah, I might be 5, but I know how to spell my name. See, this is why Deidre tells people, if you don't like my husband, you sure won't like me. Because he's the nice Snyder. Y'all have a good Thanksgiving.